But all
Yes.
right. So before we get we're gonna do some reactions to the first episode of Moon Knight, and then we're gonna talk about Superman and Lois. But before we do, we're gonna listen. We're gonna drop in on one listener topic because Tabo Borrego sent over an email to the fanboy podcast at gmail.com. And he had a question that I feel like will be right up Brett's alley. And it is about the recent consolidation of PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. So, Brett, why don't you discuss whether or not what you think about the merger of those two services and whether or not it's worth it?
Yeah. So I mean, I'll try to keep it quick here. So basically, they've split PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. They've kind of merged them. They've made it into three tiers now. So the regular tier that everyone basically has now at PlayStation Plus, it gives you the cloud saves. It gives you online multiplayer. You get your 2 games per month. That is now called PlayStation Plus. I can't talk today. PlayStation Plus
Don't worry.
Essential.
Yeah.
Too many S's altogether. So that is called PlayStation Plus Essential now. So that's no change in the cost. It's the same service that you most likely have already. Then they made PlayStation Plus Extra. Basically, what this does is it gives you everything from the Essential tier, and it adds a catalog of up to 400 of what they call the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games. No list yet on what all those games are, though. Well, let's keep going. That's
Yeah.
kind of one of the parts that is not exciting me too much. And then we have finally PlayStation Plus Premium, which this really brings in the PlayStation Now portion of the service. So that gives an additional 340 games on top of the 400. So
Uh-huh.
PS3 games are available only via cloud streaming, though, because the PlayStation 3 famously used something called cell architecture, and it's really hard to develop for and apparently very difficult to emulate. Hobbyists have made it work, and there are people that like have emulators on PCs that are able to run PS3 games. It just, to me, doesn't seem like Sony seems interested in making that investment. It also adds a catalog of games from the original PlayStation, the PS2, and the PSP. It will not add anything from the Vita because the Vita used a lot of touch controls, and that's another thing that I just have a feeling PlayStation does not want to spend money trying to solve that issue on a controller. So that's basically the new breakdown. For me, is it worth it? I will not be upgrading. I will be keeping my PlayStation Plus Essential. The reason for me, and this may be a lot of people out there, I personally do not have a great affinity for the original PlayStation 1, PS2, or PS3. I did not own those consoles, so I don't really have any nostalgia there. And honestly, every time I go back to some of these really old games, they just don't hold up well. They don't. I'm sure if there was a game that I really loved, I would love, like I would dip in, but there's just nothing from that catalog that I'm like, oh, I really missed out. Especially ones that they haven't already like made a re-release or
Mm-hmm.
remaster of, and I can play in a much better form. I like it for the fact that it helps with video game preservation, kind of, or at least giving us a fair way to access those titles without like doing like jumping through hoops or doing something crazy illegal. But from that sense, I don't find it valuable to me. The other thing, and this is something they came out pretty much right away and said, unlike Game Pass, where Microsoft is basically bringing out their first party, like AAA games day one and date on Xbox Game Pass, Sony's not going to do that. They just think it's going to hurt the quality of their games. They want you to pay the $70 for the new God of War. They want you to pay the $70 for like the Last of Us remake that is rumored to be in development. They want you to pay that. And listen, I love Sony first party titles. I am happy personally to go buy those games outright. My PlayStation is mainly I mainly have that system to play the PlayStation exclusives and some of like the higher tier AAA third party games. Now, as a someone who is what I like to call platform agnostic, I have Switch, I have Xbox Series S, and I have PS5. I'm blessed in that, and to be able to have all those consoles, I have Xbox Game Pass, and for me, there's a great value there because of amazing indie titles that I get, like Tunic, and I'm playing another one called Infernax right now, which is basically like a new old school retro style Castlevania game essentially. So I get stuff like that, but I'm also now with Microsoft's new acquisitions. I get things like Halo Infinite, which I played through. It was awesome. I'm going to get Bethesda's Starfield, which is coming out this fall and is slated to be the big game of the fall. So I'm getting those all day one, day and date on that console. And I pay, I think $25 a month because it includes Xbox Gold. So to add another subscription service, which, that middle tier with the PS4, PS5 games, which is the only thing I'd be interested in, another $18 a month. I just don't think I can swing it. And to be fair, they're adding PS4 and PS5 games. I was a PS4 owner. I played all of the games on PS4 that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
So pretty much they're going to just probably slap those games. Like I think they did throw out a few things. Like I think maybe God of War Ragnarok, not Ragnarok. That's the new one. The first one the new God of War reboot is going to be on there. Played it already. The original Horizon Zero Dawn, played it already. Last of Us Part 2, played it already. So all that stuff's already going to be on there. And then PS5, the console just came out. There are not too many games out. And the ones that I heard they're going to throw on there, I've already played and beaten. Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I don't know, there was another one. Yeah. But so for me, it's just like you're not really offering me anything that I haven't played already. And the fact that you're not going to give the first party titles day and date, it just does not justify the cost for me. I know they're going to have third-party titles, and I'm sure they'll get indie titles on there as well, just like Xbox. But it's like I already have the Game Pass. So for me, my verdict is if you don't care about Xbox or you don't have Game Pass, it might be valuable to you. I think this really benefits the lapsed gamer. If you're a gamer who missed the PS4 generation or just doesn't have a lot of time for gaming, missed those big titles, this might be for you because this might be a thing where you maybe sign up for a couple of months, and if you can like buzz through a bunch of games, it'll definitely be worth it. You'll definitely get your money's worth. But I think for people that have other subscriptions, there's just more value there. So that's my verdict. I don't know that it's worth it unless you haven't played all the great games. Also, I should throw in lastly, if you were lucky enough to get a PS5, they do give you access to the PlayStation Plus collection. So I basically have like 30 of the best games from PS4 just from getting my PS5. And that's like honestly, it's all of the really good ones and the really good Sony first party titles. So it's like, I don't understand like what else they're going to offer me on this that I don't now have with that little collection. So
there you go.
There it is, guys. It sure is a thing.
It sure is a thing. And if you have a question about a thing that matters to you, be sure to send it to the Fanboy Podcast at gmail.com. All right.